Best ever listeners, let's go. This is Ash Patel, and fair warning, today's episode is not going to be one of those PG episodes. So if you've got young kids in the car, maybe some elderly parents that you don't want subjected to my language, hit pause, maybe go back and listen to one of the Ash and Amanda's Beyond Multifamily episodes, but do not subject anybody that doesn't want to hear explicit language to this podcast. All right, if you're ready to go, let's get after it. We're going to talk about raising money, infinite banking, I'm just calling out a bunch of nonsense I'm seeing on social media lately. And I got to tell you, authenticity is the new currency. Just be real. There's so much fake shit out there right now on all social media, even in the news. And people are gravitating towards anything authentic. So share your flaws. Just be real. Speak your mind. You know, there was a Christmas card that went out a few years ago. It was some big exec in a Fortune 500 company. And when they were taking the picture for this Christmas card, he had a child, one of his kids, that was pouting. They weren't in line. They were looking sideways, mean mug on their face, crossed hands. And the guy's just like, you know what? Screw it. We're putting this out there. He sent this out to all his people as a Christmas card. And he went viral for being so real and authentic. Right now, there's so much clickbait nonsense out there. Think about these posts that you've seen. 4 things that I learned from. You know, I had lunch with a billionaire, and this is what I learned. I can't believe I'm going to share my secrets, but here it is. You know, I own X millions of dollars in real estate, and this are the 5 things that I learned. Or here are my top 5 rules for money. You won't believe number 4. It's all bullshit where people are competing for attention, but it's not proper focused attention. It's clickbait. So yeah, your numbers might go up. You might look like you're getting traction, but the quality of your followers is not going to be there. Saw a LinkedIn post recently where this guy gave away his secrets to building 30,000 followers. Legit, I checked. He's got 30,000 followers. He said, I hire a team of VAs to run my LinkedIn. His posts, he comments on other people's posts. So on LinkedIn, the algorithm rewards you when you comment on other people's posts. But unfortunately, the algorithm doesn't look at the quality of posts. So I hate it when these VAs are on my posts and they're like, wow, Ash, what a great example of whatever the hell it is that you just did. And it's such generic nonsense, but it got him 30,000 followers. He DMs people. Any comment that people make on his posts, he's got a generic answer to. It's such bullshit. And he literally just told everybody he's not authentic. It's all VAs that got him these followers. Now, on the flip side, a good friend of mine named Logan Freeman out of Kansas City, he has 15,000 followers. And I asked him, hey, man, how'd you get there? And he's like, well, this is what I do on LinkedIn. I use their entire ecosystem. I do my newsletters on there, my webinars on there. I do all of my own posts. He never has anybody else posing as him. So his quality of followers, although is half of this jackass's 30,000 followers, his followers are authentic, real people, and they're quality contacts. So when he needs to get a deal done, his 15,000 followers know what he's about. They're getting shit done. You know, on this podcast a while back, I interviewed one of the top capital raising gurus out there, you know, the big guy that does these big conferences. And I asked him, I said, hey, please tell me you're not promoting your mastermind people, hit people up and spam them on LinkedIn and hit up their DMs. And he said, oh yeah, we totally do. Do you know why? Because it works. All right. Again, quality of followers. You might be getting some traction out there, but I don't recommend doing that because at some point, if it's not already, it's going to be looked down upon. So guys, my advice to you on all social media, whether it's YouTube videos, Instagram, LinkedIn even, please be authentic. It works. I promise you. We just raised money. We had to raise, $3 million in 20 days. I literally had people send me an email saying, Ash, I've been following you on LinkedIn for a while, and I just sent $100,000 for your deal. So LinkedIn works if you're authentic. Guys, it works. Stop with the nonsense. Here's some other bullshit that I'm seeing right now. These generational funds or 10 plus year holds. Back in the day, just a few years ago, any real estate deal had an exit within 5 years. That's how they penciled out. That's how we underwrote them. And that's what investors wanted. Well, when these syndicators realize that none of their shit's penciling out for a 5-year return, or they don't know what the economy is going to do, and their deal cannot handle any bumps in the road, they came up with this fancy marketing. Hey, we have this generational fund. You can hand it down to your kids. It is a forever fund. Or these other people that are doing 10 plus year holds where they're raising money and you are stuck with them with no liquidity for 10 or more years. This is going on again because their deals suck. They don't pencil out. They don't know that they're going to be able to return any positive returns in 5 years. And guys, anybody can outrun a bad real estate deal in 10 years. Do you give your stockbroker money and he says, okay, now you're not getting this back for 10 years. I'm going to do my best to grow it. Why are we doing that with real estate people? Even if these people don't lose your money in that 10-year period, what if they come back and you've only earned 3 or 4% annualized returns? Think about the opportunity cost that money could have gone to work just in an index fund. Or, if we have a stock market crash, you put all that money in when the market's at the bottom. I would be very cautious about giving anybody money for 10 years. It's not smart. So fuck all those people that do the generational funds and this nonsense holds. Infinite banking. Oh my God. Here's another one. So this is like the Amway of financial instruments. Infinite banking is just like the generational fund. Infinite banking is just another name for life insurance. Somewhere, somebody got smart and said, hey, life insurance has got a bad rap, just like Amway got renamed to Quickstar because Amway had such a bad rap. And now Quickstar went back to Amway. They just keep changing names. It's fancy marketing. Guys, do not get it twisted. Infinite banking is 100% life insurance. There's no difference. It's just fancy marketing. I'm going to call it life insurance. It doesn't even deserve to be called infinite banking because it's not. So life insurance, why is it pushed so hard? The reason is these brokers that sell life insurance, their commission is right around 100% of the first year's premiums. One of the highest paid Google AdWords ever was life insurance because they make so much commission on selling these policies. Now, these folks that are pushing it, they're going to make it sound really appealing. Hey, you could be your own bank. You get to borrow from yourself at low interest rates while your money keeps compounding. Well, here's what they don't tell you. When you do borrow money, you are paying interest to the insurance company, not yourself. You're basically paying for the privilege of borrowing your own money. Something else that they don't tell you. And again, look, this seems really appealing. Hey, start your life insurance policy now. You get this cash value, or if you die tomorrow, this is what you get. But don't worry, the cash is not sitting idle. Whenever you need money to buy real estate, just borrow against this policy. Well, the reality is the fees and the commissions and the slow rate of returns usually eat into a lot of your life insurance borrowability in the beginning. The true returns from all of my research are after fees. These life insurance policies earn 3 to 5% annually. This is one of the lowest returns out there. Do a savings rate, do an annuity, do something besides life insurance. But Ash, they said I could borrow money against this policy. Well, look, you usually don't have any upside in the policy until several years out. So you're not going to be able to borrow money, even the money that you put in. Let's say you put in $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in year one. A lot of that goes towards commissions and reserves. So you're not going to be able to borrow money against that you're not going to be able to borrow money for several years until your policy is stable and earning a little bit of money. And it's like joining a gym and them telling you, hey, can't use the treadmill for the first 5 years. That's exactly what these life insurance policies are. Now, the other thing that these life insurance salespeople will push is, hey, Ash, wealthy people use it. The rich are doing it. They figured it out. You should be doing it too. Yeah, that sounds kind of appealing. Okay, if a bunch of rich people are secretly buying life insurance, why am I not? Well, the reality is life insurance for wealthy people is usually a last resort, and it's used for transfers of wealth or covering estate taxes when they're over the threshold. It's not their first choice investment. I've never met anybody wealthy that says, hey, I got rich investing in life insurance. Bullshit. Another aspect that wealthy people use life insurance for is it can protect you from creditors and lawsuits. Usually life insurance policies are exempt from creditors and lawsuits. So the projected returns that these salespeople will pitch you are often drastically over exaggerated. Historically, these policies have returned 2 to 5% annually. The initial returns can be negative because of the commissions and the admin fees. So again, being able to borrow your own money, yeah, that's going to come much, much later. You're still paying interest on it. And if you do have outstanding loans and you happen to pass, those loans go against your cash value. So my advice, guys, do your research, buy a term policy. I had a buddy of mine who I worked with in the corporate world, and all of a sudden he went in to become a life insurance salesman. And this jackass, every time I saw him, he would try to pitch a policy. I literally stopped hanging out with him. I would decline his invites to go to lunch, dinner, drinks. And finally, he asked me, he's like, Ash, are you not going out with me because I talk too much life insurance? And I said, 100%. He's like, all right, cool. I'll tell you what, let's just go out, grab a drink. I won't talk anything about life insurance. Well, it didn't take him more than 10 minutes. And all of a sudden he's pitching me on a policy for my kids. I'm like, why? Why do I need a policy on my kids? I'm not trying to replace their income. They don't have any. I have plenty of money. I don't need to get a windfall if, God forbid, one of my kids dies. And again, he's got a canned answer for this. Well, Ash, if something happened to my kids, I would be devastated. Like, I would need time off work and all this other nonsense. And I need money to make sure my bills are being paid. All right. Look, I've seen these tragic circumstances. If you have something devastating happen to you, it's kind of important to get back into a routine. You're not going to vegetate for 6 months, a year. So that's, again, just, it's such bullshit that he's preying on people's emotions. And by the way, when these people sell you a policy on your kids, here's what happens. And I know this from experience. My parents had one of these jackass friends who sold them a life insurance policy on myself and my siblings. So we each had our own life insurance policy. And I'm sure he sent some bullshit like, oh, listen, when they grow older, it'll have all this accumulated value and they'll be set as soon as they turn 18. Here's the reality of what happened. When I was 21, 22, whatever, my parents said, hey, we got this life insurance policy. We're going to shift it to you now. And I look at this policy and I owe them like $30,000, $40,000. And I call them. I'm like, hey, why do I owe this money? Well, the dividends didn't keep up with what the policy had initially projected. So you've got to make up this shortfall. And I'm like, okay, why don't I just cancel this policy? Oh, no problem. We could do that. But you're paying taxes on whatever this money that you're not even getting, because on paper somehow you made a gain. You've got to pay taxes on it. Such bullshit. So my options are pay this catch-up payment or surrender the policy. I got a little bit of money back if I surrender it, but then I got to pay taxes on a much bigger amount of money. So guys, please look into whatever the hell you want to call it, infinite banking, life insurance. And whenever you come across these salespeople, ask them these questions. Have them show you real world scenarios of what they've done with other people, the fees, when can I borrow against it? They're not going to have these answers for you. Educate yourself. Here's my next rant. And you guys know how I feel about capital raisers. There's a reason for that. I've had so many deals where I've had these capital raisers come to me. They don't know anything about the deal. Who knows how much they know about me? And they're like, okay, cool. If I commit $1 million to this, what's in it for me? What can I get? And I'm like, slow down. Hold on. What do you mean? So if these people that are capital raisers, all they do is they go out there and they have this fake persona on social media. And I know a lot of these capital raisers. I've met these guys at conferences and I know their exact lifestyle, but what they portray on social media is such bullshit. That same hiking picture that they took in Nepal, they use it every 6 months. Yeah, here I am again, hiking in Nepal. Life is great. I'm making money passively at the age of 35. I don't ever have to work again. In reality, they're still working. This is all nonsense. Somewhere there's a guru teaching them to post this nonsense and attract attention, back to that fake attention. So these capital raisers, again, blew my mind because they are taking millions of dollars from their investors and they're trying to deploy it into my deals, knowing almost nothing about the deal other than what I claim the returns are. They're not asking for my underwriting. They're not asking for a background check on me. They're literally trying to deploy this money as fast as they can so that they can get commissions and they can get fees and they can get part of the GP, which is very illegal. You're not allowed to be a GP on a deal unless you are actively participating, and capital raising does not count as actively participating in the deal. I'll tell you what's refreshing. I interviewed a young kid recently. His name was Ian. And he is a capital raiser. And on this interview, when I saw his bio, man, I was ready to chop his knees off and find the holes in what he's doing. Instead, he impressed the hell out of me. And here's why. Any deal that he puts his investors' capital into, one, he also puts his own money into, but two, every deal he looks at seriously putting money into, he will fly out to the deal, walk the property, meet with the investors, do the underwriting himself. And if he finds out that he can't negotiate a better deal on behalf of his investors, he doesn't do the deal. Now, think about this for how good of a guy this is. A lot of these capital raisers, they tell their constituents, their investors, hey, I have access to these incredible deals that you don't. Bullshit. It's the same deals. If they knew Joe Fairless, if they knew Ash Patel, these investors could come straight to us. But instead, these capital raisers, they play middleman and claim only they have access to these incredible deals and they'll do all the research for you. So what this young kid Ian does is he makes sure, he knows that if somebody goes direct to the syndicator, he knows what they're getting. He knows their returns. If he can't negotiate a much better deal on behalf of his syndicators because he's bringing in maybe more capital, more investors to the deal, if he can't negotiate a better deal, he'll either tell his people go directly to the syndicator or he just won't do the deal. He won't raise capital for it. I've never heard of anybody that's a capital raiser doing that. Usually, if you've got 10 investors putting $100 or $100,000 a piece in and you have a deal where they're raising $1 million, let's go. Let's make some money. Let's make those rips. Be better. So if you're a capital raiser, don't lie to your people and say, you can't get this deal without me, unless you've negotiated a much, much better deal than what that syndicator is offering, right? So again, man, I equate most of the capital people that I've come across as used car salespeople. How dare you take money from people that, could have used that money for their family, their kids, education, and you haphazardly throw it into somebody's deal just because you're making a rip on it. Shame on you guys. Next one, door count. God, if one more person asks me how many doors I own, I'm going to snap. Guys, stop worrying about door count. Look at net worth. Passive income lies, door count lies. The only metric that I know that doesn't lie, true measure of your success, is net worth. I'm going to give you an example. One of my mastermind guys, he's like, gosh, I need to get out of this gas station business. This guy owned a couple gas stations, convenience stores. And he's like, I need to get the hell out of this business. It's killing me. Teach me commercial real estate. Yeah, let's go. Well, he goes through the program and he finds a $1.8 million office building. This thing is a home run. In a year, he's got it fully leased. He's got a waiting list and it's worth $3.2 million. So he says, hey, will you help me underwrite my next deal? I said, yeah, let's go. He sends it to me. It's a gas station. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You wanted to get out of the gas station business and it was killing you. You wanted to get into real estate. What are you doing? He's like, gosh, this gas station helps me hit my passive income goal. So passive income, this goal that he had was going to make him make a really bad decision, take a step back because he had some bullshit passive income goal instead of a net worth goal. So guys, every year, do your balance sheets and make sure year over year, 1 year that what you're 100% honest with what you're putting in your balance sheet. Matter of fact, underestimate the value of your assets. Your liabilities, you should be easily able to attain those numbers by looking at loan documents, what you owe on cars, buildings, whatever it is. Assets, undervalue them so that when you actually do sell, you get hopefully a nice jump in your net worth because you undervalue the assets. But net worth does not lie. Stop worrying about passive income. Stop worrying about the number of doors that you have. Here's another one that I see a lot. I don't know why this is going on right now on social media, but the latest trend is, again, somebody on a very simple, rustic location, a deserted island, whatever the hell it is, hiking somewhere. And the theme everyone's trying to tell people is, I don't need to get rich. I don't need material possessions. I'm just focusing on my happiness. And here I am. And by the way, I'm doing this because I passively make a lot of money in real estate, and most of them are capital raisers. This whole I don't need money bullshit. Look, you need to buy back your time, right? So how do you do that? Everybody has some number that it takes for them to survive, whether it's pay your mortgage, pay your car payment, or it could be as simple as paying your travel bill, right? Maybe you're a nomad. Cool. You're a nomad, but it still takes some amount of money. So you need to replace whatever income you had before. You have to have some level of money. That means you bought back your time. When you have enough passive income, let's say, coming in to cover all of your expenses, now you've bought back your time. Do whatever the hell you want. But you know what, guys, a lot of us are in this business. A lot of us are listening to this podcast because we want more money, and money buys toys. And people that tell you, oh, I don't need all these toys. Look, you can have some cool toys. We've got an RV, boats, and these toys also bring our family together, right? They help us enjoy family time together. And the people that say, well, I just want to travel. Well, guess what? It takes money to travel, player. Those repetitive videos of the girl hiking in Nepal, which is a true story. I know her. I know she reposts that video every 6 months. It's building a fake persona. People, I think, have had it. They've had enough of all the nonsense. And again, authenticity is winning. So guys, again, the theme of this podcast, I hope that you got, is authenticity wins. Be real, be out there, put yourself out there more. And you know what? When you put yourself out there in a YouTube video that sucks, post it. Don't edit it. Your social media video sucks. Your picture wasn't good. Didn't have your right angle. Please post it. Authenticity is winning. Best ever listeners, thank you for letting me share some of your time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Follow us more, subscribe, and have a best ever day.